Yippee-ki-yay and yippee-ki-yo, cowboys and cowgirls. I'm Michael Bain, aka Wolfbane, my SAS alias, and this is Triggered. Brought to you this week by MTM Case Guard and Rock Island Armory, and coming to you from Dragon House Studios and Cowboy Bunker here in the Rocky Mountains. You've seen these rifles before. These are clones of the Winchester 1892 lever gun. And boy, have I got a brand new one to show you, which we're going to touch on in the second segment. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the 1892 before we got there. I think it's the best lever gun ever made. I think it's the handiest lever gun ever made. I think it's one of the smoothest lever guns ever made. This is my sort of collection of 44 Magnums. This guy right here is made by Army Sport Chiappa in Italy. It's imported by Cimarron Firearms. We've talked about how Mike Harvey has very specific designs for rifles, and this one is a beauty. Color case hardened, once again 44 Magnum, longer barrel, adjustable sight that works pretty well if you want to shoot a little bit further than say 50, 60, 100 yards. This is my first 1892 from back, gosh, I don't know, 70s, 80s. It is a Rossi. It's made in Brazil, but this is back when they were imported by Interarms, not as a part of the Taurus family, which they are now. Because it's got all this leather on it, you can probably deduce that I used it in cowboy action shooting. It has been completely rebuilt by Steve's Guns down in Texas, who is the great living master of the 1892 platform. And of course, this guy, which you've seen a lot of, the little stubby gun, it is a short barrel rifle. It was originally a Rossi ranch hand pistol. I paid the 200 bucks, waited 22 days, and turned it into a short barrel rifle, which, by the way, is modeled on gunsight instructor Lou Gosnell's 3030 1894, which is modeled on Colonel Jeff Cooper's 1894. As I said, they're light, they're smooth, they're fast, and in 44 Magnum, you have a great gun with a great cartridge. Of course, designed by John Browning, came out in, wait for it, 1892. Browning wanted to take his larger frame 1886 and the big Buffalo cartridges and shrink it down to the pistol cartridges of the day, 4440, 3840, 3220, later 2520. The reason you've seen so many of these guns is they were available from Winchester, as they are available now from Winchester, up until World War II. And so Hollywood bought them by the ton because in 4440, they would run the 5-in-1 Hollywood blanks. When we come back, I've got a new one to show you. Welcome back to Triggered, and this is my newest 1892 Winchester clone. It is from Taylor's & Company, and it is their Alaskan Takedown, this one in 44 Magnum. And originally I just wanted to get this gun to evaluate. I talked to Taylor's & Company at some length at the SHOT Show. They're good friends. I've known them for a long time. I have a lot of their guns. I think they're super people. And they said, hey, you should take a look at our Alaskan Takedown model. And I said, okay, well, choose which one you want to send me, because there's, I think, 5 or 6 different models. You can get it in 357, 44 Magnum. They have a 20-inch barrel one in 44 Magnum that takes a few more rounds. This is a 16.5-inch barrel. It is threaded for a suppressor. Really very cool thing in today's day and age. You'll notice it is a half octagonal barrel. It's octagonal to here and then a round barrel. It is mounted with this rail and a peep sight set into the rail. This is, to me, for an 1892, just about perfect, because you can put a really good red dot, green dot sight on it, and I don't know. I have used the miniature rifle optic, Trijicon MRO, both in green and red hunting, and it is perfect out to 200 yards. You can fit an aim point on here, a hollow sun, anything, clip right on. And then if you want to take it off, you've got your peep sight here, already built in. Makes it a very, very versatile rifle. The other thing is, if you take a look at this stock, it's covered with a rubberized sort of material. This is really good for a working gun because as much as I love wood, you'll notice that a lot of my working gun wood is battered up because I do use these guns. What really struck me about this gun, this is a 5+1, so it's a 16.5-inch barrel, 5 rounds of .44 Magnum in the tube, 1 round in the chamber. It weighs less than 6 pounds, about 5.9 pounds. The action in this gun is quite simply the best 1892 action I have ever felt, period. You saw those other guns. I have a couple of other 1892s and other calibers, but this is an absolutely flawless action on it. I'd heard some reports that these were very sharp edges. That's been taken care of. And here, the loading gate, it's not a particularly sharp edge. It's not a particularly tough spring. Trigger, 4 pounds, crisp. I would not change a thing about it. What I really like is because you've got the shorter barrel, 16.5-inch barrel, and you've got only 5 rounds in the tube, what you have, and you've heard me talk about this a zillion times, is the gun swings. It shoulders fast, and it's easy to swing, which makes it a super gun for a number of uses. Great hunting gun. Again, I've used .44 Magnum lever action 8 Marlin actually in Africa, hunting out to 200 yards. Super gun. Home defense. 5 rounds of .44 Magnum, 1 in the chamber. Very compelling home defense guns. This one comes with what they call a D loop. I don't typically like larger loops, but this one is less offensive than many. Typically on my 1892s that have big loops, I go back to standard loops. It already has recoil pad. It has a stock that you're not going to screw up as badly. And it has one other feature that I'll show you when we get back that makes it an even more useful gun. So stay with us. This week's Triggered is brought to you by Taurus USA. Always ready, always bring it. Stoger, everyday tough. Hunter's HD Gold, they change so you don't have to. And MTM Case Guard, quality shooting sports accessories. Okay, here's the magic trick that I wanted to show you. First, you open up the action, and then you unscrew the loading tube. The loading tube unscrews. You've got this little wrench-like thing here, so when you tighten it down, you can use this to loosen it up. And then the little wrench-like thing sticks up, and you unscrew the loading tube until it's loose. And then it's just simply a matter of lining it up, taking the barrel off the gun. So what you have now, if you close the action, look at what you have. Once again, you have an easy to put in a backpack. It'll fit easily in a standard backpack. It'll fit easily inside a very small hard case. So you have a gun you can use as a hunting gun, or you can have with you if you feel like, I don't know, you're going to be in a hotel room where you would like a little compelling power. It may be in a state where it's a little bit harder to carry a handgun. But you have a .44 Magnum power in this little tiny setup. And to me, that's worth a lot. And the first thing you're saying is, do you pay extra for that? And the answer is yes. This is roughly $1,700 gun, $1,750 gun. You're like, oh my goodness. However, if you want to buy a Winchester made in Morocco in Japan, an 1892 Winchester, they have 5 SKUs, they're $18.99. So $1,900. Cimarron, the one I showed you, $1,500, not a takedown version. The real buy are the Rossies, which are, of course, made in Brazil. I've been to the Rossi factory in Brazil. It is a fascinating place. I really liked the Rossi factory. And you can get a Rossi 1892 and 44 Magnum for roughly, I don't know, $1,000, $1,100. The drawback is it's not a takedown. And you say, well, I can take it to a gunsmith and have it made into a takedown. You want to guess what it costs to have a gun turned into a takedown gun? $700 to $1,000. And lo and behold, you're right back to where you were. I see a lot of people saying, well, you used to be able to get an 1892 for, I don't know, 300 bucks. Yeah, and you used to be able to get gas for 15 cents a gallon. Those days are gone with the wind. I just think this Taylor takedown, the Alaskan Takedown, has all the features you would want for what you might think of as a tactical lever action, and you will love the 1892. So Taylors, thanks so much, guys. Anyway, I'm Michael Bain. Of course, you can find us on michaelbain.tv, where we are free. You can still find us on YouTube. You can find us on Rumble. And of course, we have links for anything we've talked about. Thank you, MTM Case Guard and Rock Island Armory, for sponsoring us this week. We'll see you next week with more cool stuff.